everybody, hope you're doing well. Wanted to have a brief chat today about injuries, particularly training injuries, and how you can avoid them, how you can steer clear of them. In terms of training, one of the most important points that I can mention to you is the importance of warming up, especially when you're doing routines at home. You know, I've been posting quite a few workouts. I don't necessarily post a warm-up. I trust people that they're going to warm themselves up, but always take the time. So I'm a big believer in joint mobility, so I usually start with some foam rolling. I'll do some joint mobility, so that means you want to move every joint from top to bottom throughout its full range of motion, right? So arm circles, leg swings, hips circles, those kind of things, so important. It gets synovial fluid into the joints. They help protect them. I become a big fan of band work. Bands are cheap, they're portable, you can take them anywhere, and there's so much you can do with them. You know, band pull downs are fantastic, shoulder dislocates, chain breakers, all kinds of things. Band X blocks, you can use them for lower body. And then, you know, even a few basic body weight exercises, a few squats, a few lunges. You know, I might start doing some incline push-ups. If I'm going to have a heavy push and pull day, I'll probably start maybe doing some incline push-ups. I might do some recline rows, like an equalizer row or a ring row, before I start work on pull-ups and things like that, just to get the joints accustomed to the movement that they're going to be training that day. So warm up. Another point, work on your mobility. You know, mobility is a key factor in aging and in the aging process, so you want to, if not improve your mobility, you at least want to maintain the mobility that you have when you're younger, so it's important to work on it. Hip and ground mobility can be worked almost daily, okay? I have poor thoracic extension in my upper back, so I need to do a lot of extension work. I do a lot of mobility flows, and I actually kind of enjoy them. It's stuff that's good to work on, and it will help, even if you're weightlifting, this mobility work will help you push more weight. You know, if you don't have the ability to do a good back squat and keep your back flat, like if your back starts rounding out at the bottom under a loaded squat, that's bad news. That's going to lead to a back injury. So you have to have the mobility to do a good back squat before you can talk about squatting below parallel under load. Another point I'll make is paying attention to, everyone says, yes, you have to have good form, but a lot of people don't even know what that means. They think they know what that means. And as a coach, I'm pretty good at giving cues. But it's why I'm a big believer in doing exercises and techniques showing full control. You want to have control because it means that you're protected and your joints are protected. So for instance, in a pull-up, a lot of people just start, you know, they think it's all in the arms, right? And a pull-up doesn't start in the arms, it starts in the shoulder. So you need to protect the shoulder. And that's done through depressing your shoulders down. Every pull-up starts with, you slightly depress the shoulders, you can retract them a bit, and you keep them in that depression on all the way up, and as you come down, under control. That stabilizes your scapula and keeps it safe. And this is why I'm not a big fan of, you know, using momentum for pull-ups and doing tons of kipping pull-ups, because I know how hard they are on your shoulder girdle. Take a move like a push-up, another popular body weight exercise. Again, like most exercises, maybe with the exception of a handstand, you want to have your shoulders in depression, okay? A lot of people do advanced push-up moves like one-arm push-ups, and you'll see that the shoulder come forward and almost anteriorly rotate. You want to avoid that because that can lead to injury. Make sure your shoulders are down. Also make sure your back is nice and flat. I can't say this enough, but you know, you see a lot of people in an attempt to do push-ups on the toes when they're not really ready, and their backs are sagging all over the place, or they bring their head down because they're trying to reach the floor and they think if they drop their head, they'll get to the, well, no. Your head has to be neutral with your spine. You want to posterior pelvic tilt, so think tuck your tail under, and that is going to flatten out your back. Squeeze those glutes. Even things like weights, you know, I've mentioned keeping back nice and flat on a back squat, also on your deadlift. Make sure you have the mobility to do a safe deadlift. Make sure that my cue for a flat back on a deadlift is chest out, stick your chest out, okay? Chest up, basically. Keep your head, again, neutral with your spine, so when I come down in a deadlift, my gaze goes down to the floor. I'm not looking in a mirror in front of me. I don't need a mirror, and as I come up, my gaze goes back up again. So really pay attention to good mechanics. Another point is pain during training, pain during exercise. You know, some people, you may have heard this concept before, there's good pain and there's bad pain. Good pain sounds like kind of an oxymoron, but it's kind of like when you're pushing yourself a bit and you're experiencing discomfort. A little bit of discomfort is okay, but if I'm getting a shooting pain in a joint, if I've got a sharp muscle pain, I'm stopping definitely. And overall, you know, regardless of type of pain, if there's a scale of 1 to 10, a pain scale, and say 1 is a very small inconvenience and a little annoyance, and 10 is a very intense pain, like a lot of pain, you probably don't want to go above a level 3. You know, like preferably level 1 or 2. 3 might even be pushing it. A lot depends on how long you've been training and your own experience, but know your limits and stay within them. And in terms of knowing your limits, that's another thing. Don't get caught up in ego lifting. Okay, so I'm of a certain age right now, and I train with some of my close friends who are in their mid-30s, and I want to keep up with those guys and sometimes show them who's boss, and so I get caught up in ego lifting myself, but I have to use my brain, sometimes pull myself back and say, if I do the same thing that this guy's doing over here, the potential for injury is going to go way up. Again, I want to do something that I have control over, okay, and that I know that I can handle, and it's within my limits, and that's going to keep me safe. So know your limits. Frequency and volume, okay? Again, I can't give you any specifics for this because a lot depends on what you're training for, and what your sport is. Are you doing body weight stuff? Are you doing weights? Are you running? Are you doing a mixture of stuff? Are you doing circuit work, gymnastics, and your stage in life? How old are you? How's your sleep? How stressed are you? You know, how stressful is your family life, your job, your career, this pandemic? There's a lot of factors here. But just know, age plays a factor, so the older you get, and this is speaking from experience, trust me, the more recovery time and the more recuperation you need. It takes longer to recover the older you are. I think those are the most important points that I have for you today. I don't want to go on too long, but I hope you are training. I encourage you to train. I encourage you to do something that you enjoy doing. I don't even care what it is. It could be Zumba, it could be yoga, it could be weightlifting, powerlifting, it could be bodybuilding, it could be movement, it could be gymnastics. You have to do what you like, because if you're doing something you don't like, you're not going to stick with it. Okay? So train hard, train safe, watch your form, and hope you're doing well, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.